All right, welcome on into another episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council sorter patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we're going to take a look at Northern New Jersey 333. This council was originally formed in 1999 as the merger of Bergen, Essex, Hudson Liberty, and Passaic Valley. We've got a couple actually to take a look at today, with the first issue S1 on the patch table with what they're listing as dark pink border. It's kind of a burgundy-ish. Dark blue background, tan Boy Scouts of America, gray fleur-de-lis, and light yellow name. Taking a look at the back here, standard plastic back. Again, obviously from right around 1999, so pretty modern production standards by then. A lot of the subsequent CSPs from Northern New Jersey actually work off of this same kind of imagery. Sometimes they're swapping out what's in the top right, and almost all the subsequent CSPs have different borders. So they're not really going to be confused with the first issue, but they all do look relatively similar. Also, we happen to have another production run of this first issue, and it's actually pretty difficult to tell the difference between the two. I thought originally that the second production run that we acquired here at the bottom had considerably larger yellow text. It really doesn't in person. It does look a little different. What you do see up close is you're going to get slightly different tonal hues for the yellow. The second, or what I assume to be a later production run, I believe this is the older of the two. We'll take a look at some stuff on the back that also leads me to believe that, but I don't have that for sure. That is an estimation based on experience only. But we're getting lighter yellows here in the text for the name at the bottom on this top one, and we get slightly or kind of more dull and more bright on the second one. You're going to find some differences, and it's harder to see the differences in modern production runs. They're pretty good at reproducing things exactly. But if you look at where the letters are landing here, according to the blocks, you're seeing that they're right on the line, whereas we have some spacing in between here. You start to see the color between the N and then the dark blue, whereas you just don't have that here with the alignment in the first production run. Also, when you look at the pink border hash outline of this box, you get nice thin bold lines in this production run, and it goes real thin here. It looks pretty similar down the side, but you get some difference here. So just some placement issues. We do see some different tonal hues on the compass rose that the fleur-de-lis is on top of. This appears to be a much darker gray thread in person than what you're seeing on this one. Again, that also leads me to believe it is a different production run. Again, with larger councils and it being their standard issue, a lot of their regular issue meant for uniform wear, they're going to run out. They're going to have to reorder. That type of thing is never really tracked in collecting guides. There are some individual council collectors that go to that amount of detail, but beyond that, we don't really have good tracking of that kind of thing. If anything, you'll just see guides say that minor variations exist, and that's kind of the best thing that you've got. Now, one of the other things that really leads me to believe, besides those tonal hues, you can kind of see the tonal hues a little better through the back, in my opinion on this one. You see this one, the yellow is a lot brighter. This yellow is a little more, I guess you could kind of say, dull. But when you look at the lock stitching for the border, the style of lock stitching actually looks different. You get much larger lock stitching that matches the border color here on this production run better. And on the top one, you get much tinier lock stitching that is a bit darker than the actual border color. So those two differences do lead me to believe that these are probably two different production runs. I don't know that matters or anybody cares, but I just find it interesting. And where we have that information, where we're able to acquire those pieces, we do want to bring them to you on the episode. We hope you enjoy that level of depth in first CSP collecting. That is part of our goal, is just identification. What's out there? What are we able to show you all? And maybe you can find which one you happen to have or which one you're trying to collect. Between the two, I would believe that the top one is the older, but I don't have any guarantees on that. That's just my best guess. Both of these would certainly be qualified as S1s for CSPs for Northern New Jersey's council. So that is that. The next CSP they issued had a gray border. You're not going to confuse it with the S1. That is their SA2. And has a gray eagle on it again. So they changed out some of the pieces, but you're going to find a lot of their first Northern New Jersey CSPs happen to look very, very similar. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If so, feel free to give it a like, share it with your friends. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching new episodes. Remember, we're back every single day with brand new episodes of First CSP. Until we've shown them all, we're going to be back every single day. We hope to see you back here tomorrow for the next one. But until then, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.